And we are live. It's the Dave K Show. I'm David K. Gyro. Good evening to everybody, wherever you may be. We are broadcasting once again off the beautiful banks of Foss River in beautiful New Roads, Louisiana. And as always, we are on the third floor of the historic Julian Parter's building in downtown New Roads. So what a beautiful place to be broadcasting from. And of course, I have a very special guest in the studio with me today. And he was on about a week or two ago, and we had some little problems, little hiccups, so we got him back on the air today. So first of all, I want to tell everybody out there that's watching, it is campaign season time right now. We have a lot of people to be voting for and a lot of amendments coming up and everything. So I want to encourage you guys out there to go do your civic duty and vote. If you don't vote, I don't want to hear anybody complaining about who won or who lost, what amendments won and everything. So it's very important that you go vote. Yes, your vote makes a difference. One vote makes a difference. You don't believe me? Go Google some past elections in history where one vote or 6 or 7 or 8, 10 votes made a difference. That's a whole family of people staying home, not voting, determines the course of an election. Let me tell you something. If the wrong person gets in office, and things can go totally different. And just think of that. Just because of maybe 5 or 6 people, or maybe like a whole family, because they didn't vote, things can just turn like really, really bad for whatever reason or whatever. So once again, you guys out there, go vote. And it may be too late to register to vote. We're going to talk about that in just a second. It's too late to register to vote. So you're done already if you haven't registered. But hey, look. Go register anyway for the next election coming up for sure. Okay, so we have a great guest tonight, and it is going to be Mr. Jeremy Lacombe. He's the Louisiana State Representative. How you doing, Jeremy?
Hey, David. How's it going, bud?
I'm doing excellent. So we had you here last time, so we had some hiccups with some technical problems, and I think it probably worked out for the better because we can talk about a few more things tonight. So we're going to talk about a lot of different stuff. So first of all, of course, you are a state representative, District 18.
That's correct.
And currently serving as state representative. And a lot of people know who you are. We're going to discuss a little bit of things with people who might not know what you've done or what you are or whatever. But what I want to talk about is some recent events that we had that you were the part of. And one of the things is the foundation that you have organized, that you're part of, and that you created, and how that segues into what we did afterwards. So talk about a little bit about the foundation that you are part of.
Okay, David. So last time we were here, we had a great conversation. It was wonderful. I love being here. It was such an easy show, good conversation between you, myself, and Datha. Sorry, Datha can't be here tonight.
Yeah, she's watching right now, though.
Okay, so sorry she couldn't be here tonight. Hope she's at home enjoying the show here as we kind of come back and knock this out. So, last time we had talked in depth about our foundation and something that's such a huge part of our lives. So, 19 years ago, my mom, Janelle Lacombe, passed away from cancer. And in doing so, afterwards, my dad and my brother and I started a nonprofit foundation. So it's the Janelle Lacombe Cancer Fund. Mm-hmm. For the past 19 years, we've been raising money and assisting cancer patients in Pointe-Coupee Parish. I mean, that's really our mission.
That's great.
Our simple mission is to assist and help cancer patients in Pointe-Coupee Parish. So
right, and no shortage of cancer patients.
No shortage of. So in the 19 years that we've done so, we've raised and donated over $600,000 here locally. 99% of that money has stayed here. We've awarded 176 scholarships to to high school students who are graduating who are affected by cancer in the 3 high schools here in the parish. So we've been a part of and doing and handling these issues in the cancer arena here for a better part of about 2 decades now.
Absolutely amazing, and talk about some of the fruits that you saw of the foundation. With some success stories, so to speak.
Well, it's important. The things that we do. So we're not a national chain. We're not a national organization. But what we do is we try to help people meet their basic needs. So here in Pointe-Coupee Parish, somebody gets cancer. When they get diagnosed, they can go to Home Health and Hospice Office, Pointe-Coupee Homebound Health and Hospice Office. On
Great
Hospital
guys
Road.
over there, do a great job.
Oh, amazing. They're wonderful. They handle and assist and oversee our foundation. So as someone comes in with cancer, I encourage them to go to the Home Health Hospice. They sign up. They get a form, and essentially their oncologist has to sign off on it saying they do in fact have cancer. And then we'll start helping them with monthly expenses. Mm-hmm. So at that point, somebody from here who lives here, whether it be Bachelor, Fort Osh, Livonia, wherever, if they got to go get treatment, they're going to the doctor. That's costly. It's time consuming, especially if they got to go get radiation. They may have to drive back and forth to Baton Rouge or New Orleans or Houston. 15, 20, 30 days straight. So it gets costly. What we try to do is we help offset some of those expenses. Mm-hmm. If they need nutritional supplements, if they need medicine, we help them with co-pays. We help with light bills. We help with whatever it is that we could possibly do. So in that segue, we've always are dealing with in this arena trying to help people who have cancer here in the parish. In the last decade, just in the last 10 years, we've had over 500 families in the parish that we've received funding through our foundation. That's 10 years.
That's incredible.
We didn't really track the first 10 years
Right.
how many people were receiving funds, but as we kind of started getting more and more funding and mechanisms, we tracked it a little bit better. So now, we know we could state that we've had over 500 families here in the parish.
Absolutely incredible. That's amazing. So if anybody wants to seek services out from the foundation, how can they do that?
Oh man, look, they can go online to www.nailsangels.org. That's our foundation site. It has a bunch of information in regards to that.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly, if they have cancer, they go deal with home health and hospice. When they go up there, so me and my dad and my brother, we just sort of raise the money. Those ladies over there that home health and hospice, they oversee the day-to-day operations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing because they've done so in conjunction with the hospital. So the hospital board here has set up a nonprofit underneath the hospital board. So, we owe a great deal of gratitude to Point Coupee General Hospital for allowing us to sort of park our funds under their umbrella.
Yes.
And it's a win-win for all because it extends health benefits to people in the parish who need it the most.
Mm-hmm.
So they would, if you got cancer, go to home health and hospice, sign up. We try to keep the bureaucracy down a little. And
Right.
And they'll start getting funds to them. They'll start, they'll tell them, hey, you need to bring us, receipts or you need to bring us whatever, but they'll start helping them out along the way.
Interesting.
So
yes.
I would definitely suggest, go and see Ms. Janine Thibodeau and them over there.
Yes.
Because they're the ones that sort of dole out the funding.
Right. I think I'm going to get them on the show. What a good idea, right?
Would love it.
Yes.
Because what they do there is so amazing for the parish, and it's probably, I couldn't tell you, 5, 6, 8 out of 10 people probably here wouldn't know exactly all the things that they do.
Mm-hmm.
They are just more than a home health agency. They handle hospice. They handle cancer.
Wow.
They do a ton of good work up there
Yes.
in the community in this parish.
That's amazing. Awesome. Well, we're definitely going to have those guys out here. I had them on my show when we started our show about 10 years ago. We tried it for a little run, and they came on, and they gave some great advice, and I'm sure they got a lot more stuff to talk about 10 years later for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to kind of segue into the Relay for Life that just happened, right?
So the Relay for Life.
Which was last night, right? Or night before last?
Yeah, it was night before last. So Friday night, they had a real good event, and I'll tell you. So I'm not generally. They have a Relay for Life committee. Those folks are on that committee. I know Lauren Guitros and a whole bunch of the other folks. They did the heavy lifting on this. So Miss Tricia and them were mostly the organizers of it. But what was really awesome about it is that, the purposes of the Relay for Life and American Cancer Society and the Janelle Lacombe Cancer Fund, well, we're both cancer charities. We both kind of have a different path of things that we service. Obviously, American Cancer Society is a major national organization, but most of their funding goes towards research. So when the funding from the Relay for Life comes in, it doesn't really necessarily stay here in the parish per se like ours does. But it goes to an amazing endeavor because they are actually out there funding scientists and trying to find a cure.
Right.
And, that's not what our goal is. Our aim and mission is not to try to find the cure, but to actually help people while they were going through it.
Right.
So we have a pretty good working relationship with them. So like the other night for the Relay for Life, they do the most amazing event to kick off. They bring all the cancer survivors from the parish in. They invite them in. They do a meal. And then they speak to them about stuff. So they actually, before Relay for Life kicks off, they had me up there. They had Father Pat came up and gave a blessing.
Right.
And then they had me come in and speak about our organization.
Excellent.
While we're two separate cancer charities, we're not rivals by no stretch. We came in and we spoke about what's available to the cancer survivors. For me, it's amazing because this is my 3rd year in a row going up and speaking to the survivors. But what's awesome for me is it gives me the strength and courage to go through with it because almost every one of those survivors in that room who are actually cancer-free or struggling or they've went through, they're surviving. They're survivors. They got their little sashes on.
Right. Yeah.
They've received funding from our foundation. So many of those people in that room were thanking us like, hey, thank you, Jeremy.
Wow.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you, brother. It helped. The money that we got, we got funding while we were going through treatments, and you were helping pay for our nutritional supplements.
It must be amazing to see the faces of the people that you've helped. Wow.
It is because we
Yes.
actually, because I get to see it. I get to walk around, shake their hand.
Wow.
I go
That's
around.
great.
I tell them all congratulations, and I think they might think I'm crazy for saying
Right.
congratulations, but man, look, they beat cancer. That's
Yes.
something to celebrate.
Exactly right.
And so-
You made the road a little bit easier for them while they did it.
Yeah, and so that's my success stories. I get to talk to those folks that's in there, and they get to tell me like, hey, my wife's going through treatments now, and you've been helping us since X number of months, or hey, I survived, and while we were doing that, this, and that's for us amazing. So for Relay for Life, they had a wonderful event out there. It was great.
Yes.
I got to go up and speak to the survivors. We talked about our fun. I told survivors how, and if you have cancer or you're going through cancer or someone with cancer, please send them over. So we were able to, just what I just told you about, hey, these are the services we provide. But I got to go down there and do it, and it was an amazing event. Lauren and Ms. Trish and the whole committee was wonderful. I know the mayor got very involved this
Cornell
year.
Dukes.
Yeah, Mayor Cornell got very involved this year, so they were out
Great.
there. Big Brown, we was talking about him.
Right. He'll be on soon.
Yeah, I heard his big mouth on the microphone a whole bunch.
Right. I heard him from the wedding across the street. So
No, he's amazing. And so as we were in there, but kind of all of us volunteered. We all got in the dunking booth at some point.
Yeah. Did you get dunked?
Oh, I got dunked plenty of times. So,
Did he do it the right way? Or did they come over and just hit the thing?
well, it was the kids, man. So the kids. So first of all, started off with one of my friends, one of my buddies. His son was the first one that got me, and then after that, my son who's 5 came up, and they were all throwing. So it was good because they all wanted to see us dunk. But more amazing than that, all of the lineup of people who went out and did it was volunteering to raise money for
good cause. Right.
Yeah, it
That's
was
awesome.
a great time. So
That's great.
the event, I know they had a lot of people out there for a while. I know you had the wedding across the street. They had a lot of people, but it rained for a little while. But it kind of dampened. Some people left, but after the rain stopped, they had a pretty good crowd out there.
Great, great. I had to ask you, any reason why they moved it from the Civic Center to?
I have.
Interesting.
I have no clue.
Okay, how was that as a change of venue?
I thought it was
How'd it
pretty.
work?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, the downtown area right there between Satterfields and Morrell's was nice. I mean, they had a good setup. It was a good deal. I'm not real sure. Heck, I actually thought it might have been because of the wedding. I didn't know if the reception was at the Civic Center or something. They double booked. I don't know. It was hard for me to.
Now that you mentioned that makes a lot of sense because they probably booked the Civic Center before the Relay for Life. That's
It's
exactly
possible.
what happened.
Like I said, I'm not on the committee
Right,
that oversees
exactly.
a lot of decision making, but I thought it was nice. It was on the river. I'll tell you what was really awesome. They had the fireworks show towards the end.
Wow.
And the fireworks was on the
Yes.
barge. And it was really a nice,
Yes, indeed.
nice
What a way to cap it
touchdown.
off.
Yes.
That's amazing. Well, that is great. So I normally go because my mother-in-law died of cancer, and so did a lot of people in my side of the family. So I always go every year to support. Wasn't able to make it a couple of nights ago, but I'll be back next year for sure, and we'll see where the venue is going to be. So that kind of recaps the Relay for Life and everything. So I want to kind of segue into some past events that we've been into. Most recent, we also attended the Morganza Easy Rider 50th anniversary together.
That's right.
And we were both on a stage, and we were kind of unveiling the King and the Queen, which is really cool. And that was a really cool little thing here. So tell us a little bit about your experiences at the 50th anniversary of the movie in Morganza.
Well, I mean, look, it was wonderful. Since the Morganza Cultural District kind of came into play, I've been up there several times. I guess in capacities as a private citizen or when I was running and campaigning. But the work that committee has done is amazing.
It is.
They have, and I've told them this privately, and I'll say it publicly from any. They've figured out a way to capture magic in a bottle there.
Wow, good way to put it.
It's a grassroots. I mean, it's just a purely grassroots effort of folks who are in and around and live or grew up in Morganza and who are striving to sort of bring economic development and revitalization towards that area, and it's wonderful because they have a big group of folks. They come out, they're participants. So I was happy when I went up there and I spoke to their meeting to kind of give them a legislative update prior to the Easy Rider event. And while we was up there talking, I saw that they needed a sponsor for one of the bands.
Right.
And the band that was playing is it's actually some good friends of mine from there. They always volunteer to play for free at my charity event where we raise the cancer.
Right.
So I was like, look, I'll go ahead and donate.
Awesome. Awesome. Good vibe.
Yeah,
Good job.
I'll
Good
go
job.
ahead and sponsor the band.
I love it.
La Rouge is amazing. They always
Yes.
those guys are some great musicians and
Well worth it, I tell you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, and these guys, a lot of these guys are like fixtures in the music community.
Oh yeah, look,
Jeez.
You'd be so at the festival that day. They had sort of their normal lineup of folks, but they played at my cancer charity event back in August that we did.
Yeah.
And Mr. Doug Militello brought they had an extended lineup.
Wow.
And
yeah.
you should have heard as they were doing the introductions of the band. They kind of tell where this person's played, who they played with over the years.
Right.
They had Grammy winners. It was insane.
Wow.
Look,
yes.
And what's good is I know LaRouge is an amazing band, and they're good in the music community, but they're fun and they're fun
right.
to watch.
And humble people too, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Just approachable.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
So it was
Really
an
cool
easy
guys.
decision for me to sponsor them, but we went out to the festival and I was blown away. I couldn't believe in how many people were there, and from all over the country. I met a couple, like as we were sort of, you and I were in the thing, and look, of course, because we were sponsors, we got to meet the mayor.
Right,
and,
exactly.
So that's an amazing feat.
right.
Amazing
True.
task there.
Yeah,
so
they put you in front of the line. Yep.
it was funny.
Right.
Whenever I went in there and I sponsored it, Mr. Woods was sitting next to me, and he was like, "Hey, you sponsor this like this, you get to meet the mayor."
Right, exactly.
So
right.
He's got a good.
Did he send you to the VIP room that was the only air conditioned room on the whole campus?
That's right. I did. I made my way in there to
Right.
get me some water. So,
There you go. Right.
But it was amazing. When I got there, I couldn't believe the number of people that was
It was
there.
amazing, man. Yeah. What's some figures that you heard? I heard like 3,000.
That's what they told me, that they thought they had about anywhere from 3,000 to 3,500 bikes.
Wow, just bikes. Jeez,
Just
wow,
bikes.
That's
And
amazing.
so they had, and look, the volunteers that were there working all of the different booths, because that's what it was. It was volunteers as community.
Yes.
So it was just an amazing event.
Yes,
I was
it was.
so humbled and happy to be part of it. Because look, I'm a fan of the movie, and
Right.
it's such a cool connection to our area and where we're from. So I didn't get a chance to check out the museum with the exhibit that they had, but I
Right.
saw some of the pictures on Facebook.
Yes, absolutely amazing. Some of the wax figures, I guess they were wax or whatever, looked just like the characters in the film. It was amazing. Dennis Hopper, it was amazing.
It was just a really good event to have in this area because they had so many people from outside of, all over. They had a couple from Wisconsin. They had a guy from California I was talking to. They had people from Gonzales and Sorrento. Just
Right.
it's an amazing mixture of folks from all over that like to come down for that. And look, that's wonderful for our community. It brought a lot of folks in our communities, not necessarily from here, and I'm sure that they were buying gas and food.
Yes,
and
they were.
so
Yep. Hotels. The hotels were packed. Best Western, all of them. Yeah.
It's a good shot in arm for our community.
Yes, and I'm so proud of the Morganza Cultural District, like you were saying, because like you said, it's a grassroots effort that came up pretty much out of nowhere with a couple of different ideas, and about a year ago, or whatever. And it's like I'm just totally blown away by what they've become, and they hadn't even really started yet. They're just getting traction right now.
Every time we talk, they just seem like they got a momentum of a wave that's moving forward. It's amazing, and it's all volunteers who just came together and said, "Hey, we want to make the town."
And that being that they're volunteers shows you their heart's in it for the right reasons.
That's correct.
They're working their butts off to make this work, and they're doing a great job, and they're very successful at it. I had a lot of naysayers that came to me at the very beginning of the Morganza Cultural District project, and they go like, "It's never going to work, never going to happen. Nothing's ever going to come of it." Well, they've been proven wrong time and time again, and I think those people's opinions now are changing now that they see. Because just about every banner that comes out, you see something about it. I see an article here and there, something. Ms. Jeannie Andre, our tourism director, promotes the heck out of the cultural district and gets it out to the TV stations, news stations. And so I'm happy to be a part of it. So.
And I've been to several of their other events. We took when they did the Christmas caroling last year around Christmas time.
Yes.
My wife and I went. We took the kids out there, and it was awesome. They had all the different churches with the choirs out singing Christmas carols. They had different bands. It was just a wonderful family environment in our area that for kids to go to, families actually, because look, I had as much fun singing Christmas carols with my little boy and my little girl there as anybody.
Right.
We went to that event. I went to another event they had where it was like a gumbo cook-off or whatever, and they had a bunch of people participating. So they've had numerous events out there that's just good family fun.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to kind of segue into this. Y'all are associated with Taylor Fry, right? Are y'all doing anything with Taylor Fry? Or?
Well, I had Taylor come play at my softball tournament, my charity, because I saw her singing out there at the thing a couple times. And I asked Taylor, I was like, "Hey, would you be interested in coming out, bringing your band out?" And so they did. They volunteered their time, and
that's great.
Came out. But I've sort of met her through the times I've went to Morganza there with them. But
so yeah, she's kind of like a little gem that's kind of rising in because she does her video production and everything. So she's always doing little promotional videos. Her music is literally homegrown from Morganza, from the agricultural part that she's been growing up in and everything. And she used to work for Farm Bureau Insurance a long time ago, doing the videos and the television show. So we're thankful to have Taylor Fry and her band originating kind of out of Morganza to help promote through the arts and through music, which is really, really working out pretty cool. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so we're thankful to Taylor Fry and her band. Taylor, if you're listening, we're thankful to everything that you're doing for the Morganza Cultural District also as well. All right, well, that sounds great. So as you see, a lot of different events in the past. Do you have anything else coming up in the future besides election night coming up? We're going to get that in a second.
Yeah. So for our foundation, for our cancer charity, we'll have another function coming up in probably February or March.
Okay.
We do 2 events a year. So the first one that we do is a co-ed softball tournament, 5K auction type deal.
That's in Fort Osh, right?
It's in Fort Osh. Yeah, both of these events are in Fort Osh. So that event is actually a much bigger fundraiser type deal. And we do a smaller one in the spring. Basically, it's a couche-on delay, so we'll have plate lunches and food and sell raffle tickets and whatnot.
All right, and these are like fundraisers?
These are fundraisers for our charity. So
Gotcha.
There's only 2 that we do a year. So the first one's in August. That's the bigger one. And then the fundraiser, the second one that we do is in February. And that one's more geared towards raising enough funds so that we kind of have some money on hand. The August one that we do, all of the money, 100% of the proceeds go to Home Health and Hospice where they oversee it.
Great.
The one that we do in the spring, we use it for our scholarships. So
awesome.
It's mostly so that we have a little bit of money on hand. We don't raise nearly as much money as we do in the one in August, but we fund our scholarships. And like last May, I gave out 26 scholarships to high school students.
Incredible.
In the parish.
So pretty much all the high schools, like Falls River Catholic?
All 3 of the high schools in the parish.
Livonia? Wow.
All 3 of the high schools in the parish. I send out application processes, an application to their guidance counselors, and they have to write a scholarship. Any of the kids can apply
for it.
They basically apply by writing a paper saying how cancer has affected them.
Awesome. That's
so
great.
it's a good deal, but we awarded 26 this past.
Wow, that's incredible. Is that a record for you? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a record. Absolutely.
That's incredible.
Yeah, definitely.
That is amazing. So so obviously you are looking for businesses to offer goods and services for your fundraiser, right?
Yeah, we always look. I'll tell you, we've been doing it for 19 years now, and it's like we have an amazing infrastructure of people and local people, businesses here that help and supply us. I mean, a lot of times I don't even have to ask. As they start seeing the events coming up, those businesses will reach out to me and donate things or donate money or whatever. It's an amazing deal. So yes, we're always looking for additional.
Right.
You know, we are a 501c3, so we are tax deductible. So if you're always looking for a year-end tax deduction,
yes, very important. Yeah.
Before January 1st this year,
that's right.
We are a tax deductible thing, so you can write a check to us and get a tax deduction. But
awesome.
Yes, it's a good deal, and we have such a wonderful support cross section of businesses, individuals, and people from around the parish that come in and help and participate.
Awesome. Well, once again, I would like to maybe have some cancer survivors on the show. Leading up to some of your events coming up, have you back on? Have some cancer survivors come on. Success stories.
Oh yeah, would love to.
Well, I got some more mics coming in pretty soon. We can fill this whole table up with people. Not a problem at all. So.
Well, that's wonderful. Look, I know I'm pretty excited about it after sitting here and seeing how y'all. I was so nervous last time we came because I didn't really know how the layout was going to be, and then I got it.
Right, we were nervous too. I'm not gonna lie to you.
And then right before the show today, you're telling me like what y'all plans are, and I'm pretty excited about it. It sounds amazing how y'all going to change the layout. And
it's gonna be very good. Yeah. So before you got here last time, me and Dathan we're serious. We're like we got a state representative coming in here. We got somebody coming here that's like really important. We got Dathan. You got to be looking good. You got to wear something nice. Do something nice.
Dave, let me tell you something, man. I'm just Jeremy from Fort Osh.
There you go. That's what I like. There you go.
I'm not some serious VIP here or whatever. I'm just Jeremy from Fort Osh.
There you go. Hey, I'll appreciate that. I'm gonna tell Dave if you're watching, listen, because he'll be back on when you're here next time. So for sure. Well, that's awesome. All right, so obviously you are involved in. Is there anything else that you're involved in that we're not aware of?
Man, I'm involved in everything. So, but for the most part, I know that the election day is this Saturday, and I know last time I came on, the basis of it coming on was to talk about our charity event and the work that we've done there. But since I am here and I know that the election's this Saturday, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk
Absolutely, go for it.
A little bit about that. So first, I guess, we had I campaigned on 3 big deals last time. And when I say last time, I just won a special election back in March. So, a lot of the people here locally are finding out and realizing as they're going voting, like, wait a second, we got to vote for you again. Didn't you just win? Well, yes, we had a special election. It was after Major Tebow won the parish president position. He vacated his state house position. And by law, we had to have a special election to fill the remaining part of that term. The normal term was this October. So it would be this October 5th, when election day is. That's the start of a 4-year term. So what I won back in March was only for basically to fill out the rest of the year. So, yes, I'm having to run again, so here we are.
I want to ask you real quick, was that a campaign that was hastily put together because it's like, okay, all of a sudden Major Tebow's out, we got to hurry to assemble some stuff together, or did you see this coming? Or?
No, I knew I was running anyway. So,
Okay.
And when I say I knew I was running anyway, I didn't know if Major was going to run for parish president. Major was term limited, so I knew Major was term limited, and he couldn't run again this October. He had already served 3 terms, his 12 years, so it was going to be an open seat.
Gotcha. So you're getting ready regardless.
I was planning on running. I'd been planning on running for this seat for quite some time, so it was something that I didn't really hastily throw together. I knew that I just didn't expect it to be February and March. I thought it was going to be October.
Exactly,
so
right.
we had to change things around and get together, but at the end of the day, I had always been planning to run when Major had termed out. So so we didn't really hastily throw it together, but it did kind of come together pretty quick because then when Major won that seat, we didn't know when the special election was going to be.
Right.
And so basically we was in October, November, somewhere around there, October, I think. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh, well, the election's in February.
Wow, right.
So it's not easy to go try to communicate. Look, this is a big district geographically. So we got 20.
Yep. District 18, right?
Yeah, District 18. So it covers all of Point Capee Parish, but it also has a precinct in West Feliciana. You got a good portion of Iberville Parish. Well, it's only 2 precincts.
Man, this is big.
Yeah, and 2/3 of West Baton Rouge. So you literally can drive from the Mississippi state line and go all the way to the bottom of the swamps in Iberville and still be in this district.
That's amazing. Wow,
geographically, it's a big district, and it covers. We have 25,000 registered voters in this district.
25,000.
Yeah, 25 registered voters. So there's over 50,000 people that live in the district. But so it's a big geographic district, and it's very difficult to try to communicate. You can't just go walk door to door and knock on the door, and when you're told, hey, in November, hey, the election's in February,
right?
You just don't have the time. It covers a long time. So we had to do some things to try to get the vote out, and that was commercials and mail outs and mail pieces. I see you have one here.
Right, an old one, yep.
Direct mail pieces, Facebook. I mean, we did a whole cross section of stuff, but the message was the same. I really was running on kind of 3 things: education, infrastructure, and healthcare. Healthcare, obviously, because of my past in the past 20 years in the cancer charity arena, and seeing how people needed and valued access to healthcare, and then in addition, the education side. And infrastructure, our problems with the infrastructures and roads.
Well, that's an understatement.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
So those were the 3 messages that I ran on then. This legislative session was quite amazing. So I got elected in March and went into the legislative session. But we were able to do some really good things in all 3 areas. For the first time in 10 years, I had the feeling that our state actually put education up on a pedestal and actually made it the right type of necessary investments. And when I say that, every segment of education, from 0 to 3 early childhood education, kids from kindergarten through 12th grade, and then higher education, we made increased investments in all of them. So in early childhood education, we actually funded as a legislature and was signed into law by the governor. We increased the budget by over $15 million previously for 0 to 3. Now, that's a substantial boost. However, there's still a significant backlog. And to me, early childhood education funding is one of the most critical things we could do. We need to have our children educated They can't just start kindergarten on day one and be prepared for the type of educational endeavors that they're going to face in school. We need to have quality Head Start programs. We need to be able to have access to those programs. There's still a backlog in Head Start. This $15 million in addition to what they had received last year is going to help alleviate some of that, so that working parents and working families could actually have a quality Head Start program to put their kid in.
Great. Does this include like teacher raises, salaries,
No,
or
that's
just
just
separate?
That's
separate.
just separate. That's a
Okay.
separate issue. So that's just early childhood education 0 to 3. And if you
Okay.
ever want to have a conversation in regards to early childhood education, there's amazing work being done here locally by a nonprofit run by Ms. Joanna Wortels, one of the board members.
Right.
They are amazing in their approach to trying to help our education centers with 0 to 3 for kids here in the parish, training them and getting them up to speed, getting the teachers credited and whatnot. So just that alone, if you're looking for a guest,
Yes, absolutely.
I'd suggest bringing them on because they've been able to do some really good work here and trying to get certified teachers and those.
If they're movers and shakers and making things happen, then we'll get them on.
Well, I'll tell you that, buddy. If you want to talk about movers and shakers and really get some information in regards to early childhood education, I'd bring them on.
We're going to do it.
Let's
Make my word. We're going to do it. Yes.
And
absolutely.
so for early childhood education, that's one of the bigger things that we did through there. Secondarily, for kindergarten through high school, just regular school students, we dealt with. We were able to pass a teacher pay raise.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
So we were able to pass a teacher pay raise for the first time in 10 years.
That's incredible. Wow. Those teachers have to be happy.
Well, yeah. And look, I'm sure that everybody would have liked it to have been more than what it was. However, our state has been in such a fiscal black hole for the best part of the past decade. So we're just now starting in the last 2 to 3, 4 years, pulling ourselves out of that fiscal problem. I would have liked to have given the teachers more of a pay raise and went down, but you can't also, on the other side, you have to realize you can't just, we've been in a bad hole for 10 years, we're just digging ourselves out. You don't want
It's going to take some time.
It's going to take some time, and you don't want to put yourself back in a situation where we constrain the state again, and then we'd be facing budget deficits. So, but we were able
like taking one step forward, 3 steps back. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, so we were able to pass a teacher pay raise. It's the first time in a decade that's happened.
Is that across the board? How does that raise work?
Well, it's $1,000 across the board.
Okay.
Teacher pay raise, from kindergarten through whatever. In addition, support staff like paras, janitors, secretaries, or whatever, they were also given a $500 pay raise.
Okay.
And it was done not as a one-time deal, which there was a lot of debate in the legislature this year trying to make it a one-time like bonus type deal. But that was not done that way. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it was affected. It was put in permanently through the MFP formula. So it is a permanent raise in place, funded through the MFP. In addition, the MFP formula is the way that, in and of itself, the MFP formula, you feel like you need a degree in rocket sciences to figure this out as a non-educator. But the MFP formula is how our state actually funds our parish government, like our parish school boards, how the funding flows from the state to them, to the BESI, to the school boards. So for the first time in 6 years, the MFP formula also included like a cost of living adjustment.
So you can ask about cost of living, yes.
Yeah, so they've been basically for the last 6 years, the MFP formula hasn't increased any at all per pupil. So this year they've actually were given, I think it's a 1.25 or somewhere in that lane percent increase, so per pupil. So because otherwise you're just basically telling the school boards, hey, keep making do on 6 years ago budget.
Right. Right.
So things go up. The expenses,
definitely
inflationary. So we gave them an increase on per pupil within there. That was the first time in 6 years. We fully funded TOPS.
That is great too. Yes.
Yeah, fully funded TOPS, and that's a main deal. Look, through my foundation, every year I go out to all 3 of these high schools, and they are dealing with the scholarships. And I hear these guidance counselors as they're talking about these high school students. Well, such and such got, Jimmy got TOPS and Jane got TOPS, but last year was a true. They actually didn't know if they were going to be able to fund TOPS to the capacity they thought, and so guidance counselors were actually saying, well, he's gotten this award, but if the legislature funds it. So, I don't fully funding TOPS 100%. That's a deal that our state made with these kids. If you go work hard and you do these things, then we'll back you. I think that was a pretty important.
Yes.
Pretty important.
You're not just saying that, hey, you got an award, but here's something to back it up.
Yeah, go to school, get your education. We'll be better off as a state down the line with you as an educated, with an education, quality education, whether it be technical skills or whether it be a college degree. We're better off to have you as an educated populace. So we fully funded TOPS this year, and then we did not make cuts to higher education, which, look, in the past 10 years, every time you go into session, if you're facing a $400 million, $600 million, $2 billion budget deficit, there's only three places you can make cuts under our system. It's either going to be higher education, it's going to be healthcare, or just state workers. So, I mean, Department of Corrections, issues like that. So when you start talking about not making cuts to higher education, well, that's the first time in a long time that we fully funded these higher education needs to the Board of Regents of University of Louisiana, LSU, or the historically black college university system. We fully funded those areas. We didn't cut them.
And so when you say we, you're talking about a bipartisan effort. Both sides. That's amazing.
Everything done through the legislature, it has to be done in a bipartisan commission. I mean, the way our current system is set up, we got a Democratic governor, but the legislature is completely Republican controlled. So everything that comes out of there, it has to be done. Some of these votes had to require 2/3 votes of both the House and the Senate.
Wow.
So when you start talking about getting 2/3 of the House, this is all bipartisan.
Right. That's excellent.
You have to be able to, look, I'll tell you, you have to be able to work with people from the opposite parties and go sit down with them, because that's
the compromise.
That's
sometimes.
it. That's the only way our function is going to work. You can't be too rigid and you can't be too imbalanced, either left or right. You have to be able to go sit down and be able to discuss these things on all sides and have people come up with compromises.
Absolutely, yeah. And so I'm proud of you. Hats off to you and all the other guys in the legislature for working and making some stuff happen. This is some great stuff.
And that's just education.
Right, wow.
Look how much we hit in education.
Right, that's incredible.
We made tremendous strides in several other areas. We passed the largest infrastructure spending program in the state of Louisiana over 30 years for roads and bridges. We were able to capture $700 million of the BP economic damage settlement.
Great. That's putting people to work too, right?
Absolutely. Look, they're going to build roads and bridges and projects all over this state for the next 5 to 7 years with that money.
Excellent.
Now,
that's great.
When you talk about that, we're tremendous beneficiaries over here in District 18. I was a co-sponsor of the bill. It was House Bill 578. It ultimately passed both houses, and the governor signed it in the action. It's going to take $700 million. We'll be able to bond it out, DOTD. We'll be able to go build roads and bridges in different areas of the state. One of the projects was $125 million for West Baton Rouge Parish for the Highway 415 LA1 connector project.
Right. That's great.
Anybody over here that drives to Baton Rouge and gets caught on that bridge back and forth will understand that having that secondary path around will give the ability for West Side people to not have to clog up the bridge.
Yes,
it's going to help traffic.
Awesome.
It's going to alleviate that.
That's going to be awesome. If Datha was here, she'd be ranting and raving about that right now.
Oh, absolutely. Look, and the thing is, anybody who goes to Plaquemine, got to drive to Dow Chemical or Placid or any of those refineries down there, Shintech or whatnot, they understand the problems that it causes. Now, I have a client of mine that big trucking company right by the base of the Intracoastal Bridge, and when that bridge was basically shut down, it grinded the economy of West Baton Rouge to a halt, but it crippled the capital region. We had people from Gonzales and whatnot was talking about how it shut down the entire capital city in Baton Rouge into gridlock. You can't have that. Economically, you can't have the capital city of our state of Louisiana crippled because you don't have a go-around.
Exactly.
Right. So,
and like you said, this affects the intercoastal.
That's the intercoastal. Right. So that road where the Highway 415 ends right now, so if you're just driving past up the McDonald's in Port Island.
The dead end right there.
Where it deads in, it's going to continue straight. It's going to go, I think it's a 3-mile, 4-mile, 4-lane road. It'll go straight through there, circle around, and it'll have a new bridge constructed over an Intracoastal. And then it's a kind of a flyover, and ultimately it will come out on LA1 somewhere right around Emily Drive where Spillway Sportsman's at.
Right.
So it's a new bridge, but a new path around. So folks coming from this way can just stay straight, not ever get on the interstate, not ever have to worry about that other. So it's going to help alleviate some congestion.
Nice.
In the event
Very nice.
In the event one of those other roads or bridges kind of shut down or whatever, there'll be a go around. You know, when that dump truck hit that bridge, they had people that was trying to commute, and they were driving 56, 57 miles around to get away.
Sunshine Bridge and all that.
And then the Sunshine Bridge went down.
Yes, it did.
Because so you had a double whammy there.
Wow.
And so if you were trying to commute anywhere in the area, it was absolute gridlock.
Yes, and it lasted for a while too, didn't it?
Yeah. The best part about this whole $700 million, it's going to fund projects for roads and bridges and construction of roads and bridges all over the state. Not a single tax dollar went to that.
Incredible.
So it was this is not a tax increase anyway. We captured that money from the BP oil spill.
Yes.
And this is, in my opinion, one of the most critical investments that we could have made with it. Instead of plugging budget holes where it goes into the general fund and then God knows where it ends up at. This way we're going to see something. We're going to build roads. We're going to build bridges. We'll put people to work.
This is amazing.
It'll be an economic boost for our state.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I love it.
Yep.
That sounds great. So things are getting done. Wow, I am impressed.
Look, all of the things that I ran on, we were able to get some.
Right.
Some
you say what you mean, and you mean what you say, don't you?
That's right.
That's amazing. So let's talk a little bit about did we go over any of the healthcare stuff in detail?
Well, one of the big things on healthcare through the legislative session we were able to pass. One of my colleagues, State Representative Julie Stokes from around New Orleans, she's a breast cancer survivor. There were some bills that I co-sponsored with her. She put a lot of dedication and work into those bills, but it went towards benefiting and helping breast cancer patients get some health care things that previously were not covered, genetic testing, certain types of testing stuff done. So those bills were very important to me because of my work with the cancer stuff. They was even more important to Julie because she herself is a breast cancer survivor.
Yes, right.
And she was able to kind of really work. She was on the forefront of pushing that. But in the healthcare arena, that was something that was very important that got passed through last legislative session. And then in addition to that, we had, just the sort of the general healthcare arena. We didn't have any cuts to it. We didn't have budget cuts. There's no hospitals that have been shut down in Louisiana.
Right, great.
And those things are, you work in the healthcare industry.
Right.
That's your main job.
Right.
You look around at some of these other states across the country, and you'll see that there are rural hospitals all over this country that are shutting down because of the healthcare issues and budgetary issues. And we have been very lucky in the state of Louisiana since the Medicaid expansion on different things that have been done here where we have not lost hospitals.
Yes, it's amazing. We've seen little things kind of sprout out. Children's Hospital just opened up,
right.
Lady Lake Children's Hospital.
That's right. Lady Lake Children's Hospital opened up. The legislature actually funded through capital outlay some portions of that. It's not anything that I did. It was done years ago before I got there. But we took the foresight and understanding the legislature took the foresight to realize those kind of things. We got a long way to go just in the realm of healthcare. I know personally that we have a long way to go. We got to get better at mental health issues and
yes,
mental
we do.
health things.
I can vouch for that, yes.
We need to have more and better facilities and better access to care for mental.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of things that we need to do. But look, we got a lot done this session. I think that we're moving in the right direction. Our momentum's going in the right direction. And I think that as long as we're on a fiscally stable and sound position from our budgetary issues, we'll be able to make those types of investments in other areas as we go forward.
Yes, that's great. That's very, very good. So I'm very encouraged by what I'm hearing from you, for what you've done recently and what you're going to do in the future, too. So wrapping things up pretty soon here, talk to us a little bit about some unfinished business, so to speak, that you have. What were some things you'd like to continue? Oh,
look, we, still going back right now in the state, we have a $14 billion, that's what it'd be, $14 billion backlog on infrastructure projects.
Wow.
We know that we need
statewide, right?
Statewide, yeah. We know that we need, look, our roads are deplorable.
Yes, they are.
Everybody knows that. You drive on the roads, we have problems there. As long as we have that $14 billion backlog, we're going to have issues. We have to address that. It's going to take strong leadership from the governor's perspective, from the executive's perspective, and with our legislators' help to come up and figure out a way. We can't just keep kicking the can down the road on that. That's going to be a major issue, I think, moving forward in the next 4 years, is trying to figure out how to raise the necessary revenue there to build those roads and bridges. We have to have a bridge in Baton Rouge. The Intracoastal
right.
Highway 415 connector was an amazing project, but it's not going to alleviate the need for a new bridge over the river. I mean, that has to happen. That is, we're
Right.
past the point of it being on the wish list. It's on the necessary gotta have list.
Right.
So we know that that's going to be $1 billion plus project. From some of the numbers I've heard, that even if it's a toll road, the toll road's only going to create about a $400 million portion of it. So you're going to have a gap. The bridge is going to cost $1 billion, maybe up to $1.5 billion.
Wow.
You got to figure out a way to pay for that.
Yes.
There's no rainbow with unicorns and a pot of gold on the other side. Like, we have
True.
to figure out how to pay for this.
Yes.
We need a bridge there. They need a bridge critically in Lake Charles. The I-10 bridge in Lake Charles is one of the worst rated bridges in the country.
Yeah, I saw that thing the other day. I went to a film festival. I didn't want to get on it.
I don't blame you. There are
Right.
actually companies in Houston that are sending out memos to their employees saying if you drive through Louisiana, you should avoid that bridge.
Wow.
I mean, that's how
Jeez.
the ratings is terrible on it. It's a danger. Everybody knows that. The Lake Charles delegation is working diligently on it. I saw when President Trump came to Lake Charles 5-6 months ago during session, he said he was going to build the bridge. That'd be great. We'd take that.
Right,
Because
sure.
that would free up $1 billion to build the bridge somewhere else.
Right.
Because we have tons of
14
road.
billion.
You got $14 billion worth of
Right.
backlog. You got to try to find a place to put it.
Wow.
So
Let me ask you a question. So remember relatively recently, the old bridge got like a renovation. What all did they do on that? Did anything structurally or just cosmetic?
I'm not real sure because that all kind of played out last year before I came in.
Okay.
I seen what you saw is basically it looked like they did some cosmetic work on the appearance of it, but I think that
Right.
they also shored up some of the structural integrity on the
Yeah, I was
bottom.
just wondering how that worked. Yeah.
That is that. I know something I'll throw out on Saturday's election day. We have a very extremely lengthy ballot.
Yes, thanks for that. Yes.
I would say that before anyone goes vote on Saturday, you need to go take a look at a sample ballot to see all of the things that are on there. I've spent the better part of this week going to talk to several groups and fielding the numerous calls on the constitutional amendments. We have 4 amendments on the ballot. You have every statewide office, governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, attorney general. Here in our parish, we have a sheriff's race, a local sheriff's race. We also have my race for state representative. In addition, there's a tax renewal that's already for the fire district.
Right.
So there's a lot of things on the ballot. If you just show up on Saturday, I would encourage you to educate yourself. You can go to the Go Vote app, Louisiana Go Vote app, or
There
go
you
to the Secretary of State's website. Secretary of State's website will show you your sample ballot of the things that, if you enter in your information, it gives you, hey, this is your precinct, these are the things you're voting on. So that way you'll be a better educated voter coming in.
And you're cognizant of people's time because you don't be in the voting booth just wasting time.
I know. Look,
reading everything.
Look, it's a very lengthy ballot because when I went voted early the other day, I went through and my wife and I had to sit down and we kind of walked through the amendments. There's 4 of them. I would encourage people to visit PAR Louisiana. I think the website is www.parlouisiana.org or something like that.
Okay.
They're a non-partisan group out of Baton Rouge. They have the pros and cons and the yeses and nos of all 4 of those amendments. One of the amendments, amendment number 1, deals with oil and gas component part issues. It's not a easy understanding
Right.
thing because it deals with tax issues involving the component parts that are on oil rigs in the Outer Continental Shelf.
Right.
But it's very important to our economy statewide. I think that's a very important deal because if it's not passed, then very well some of the oil and gas companies may end up suing the state to try to get some tax decisions made on federal tax issues. So
Wow. Right.
that's one. They have a tax appeals board. That's the number 2. So you have some issues with tax appeals boards and how people want to challenge taxes, and that's kind of clarifying and giving some authority to an appeals board to make some constitutional decision making and that. And then you have, I think, number 4 on the ballot is a New Orleans property tax. That's a local tax issues. And then number 3, off the top of my head, I can't really remember it right now. But all 4 of those amendments, you can go to parla.com,
Okay.
and they have good explanations of for and against on both sides of
Right.
it.
They can make their own mind up on that.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
great. I think clerk of court's another one that we forgot to mention. Is that a parish-wide
Yes,
voting?
it is. So there's a parish-wide. They have a clerk of court thing.
Yep.
Amendment number 3 is dealing with an expansion of the Education Excellence Fund for there's allowing an opportunity for Southern University Lab School, University High School, Laboratory School in Baton Rouge, the Thrive Academy in Baton Rouge, and then LPB would be able to, those 4 entities would be able to get some, allowed to be getting funding through this Education Excellence Fund if that amendment's passed. So
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
you
interesting.
got four amendments on there, but it's certainly something that's important in all realms.
Yes.
I think you should educate yourself about that.
Absolutely. And like we said, talk to the people real quick about the importance of getting out and go and vote.
Oh, absolutely. Look, this Saturday, there's so much stuff going on this Saturday. The LSU Florida game's at 7 o'clock. You got cruising on the coast. I think you got Talladega. There's a whole squirrel season, boat season, people's at the camps doing their food plots. Like, there's a million things that most people will be wanting to do on this Saturday. We had a huge uptick in early voting statewide. So even in Point Coupee Parish, we saw a lot more people voted early. We had over 3,000 people early voted in the 7 days here.
Yes, that's incredible.
Which, going back to 2015, there's only 1,700 people early voted. So I can tell you, our register of voters here, Ms. Shanika and her staff have been really going at it in the last.
Earning their money.
They earn their money this one. So, but that's good, because I think a lot of people are recognizing the convenience of voting early. And not having to put all your eggs in the basket of Election Day. But also on the top of that, they also are looking at they may be wanting to go to the LSU football game that day. They may be wanting to go to the camp and go get their food plot done. So it's a very important endeavor. There's so many important things that's on this ballot this year for not only our parish but our state. So I definitely encourage everyone to go out and let your voice be heard.
Absolutely. We're very, very good. Well, that's going to pretty much wrap everything up. Is there anything else that you'd like to go over before we shut it down?
Man, I think we covered it.
I think so, too. Yeah,
great
show.
I think we got through a whole bunch of it. So.
Yes, we did. Okay, well, I appreciate you coming out, and we're definitely going to have you back again many times in the future, because there's so much stuff to go over, so many events to go over. And I have to officially invite you to come to our 75th podcast show, first or second week in January at the City Club.
That's awesome.
So will you and your family come out here if we invite you?
Yeah, we definitely will try to make it.
Great.
My wife works 2 weekends out of every month, so it depends on what her schedule's like. But
she'll be there in spirit if she can't be there in person.
But I'll definitely try to make it and get us over.
Well, I appreciate that highly, because we want to roll the red carpet out to all of our guests and show how much we appreciate them coming on, and just see how valuable these people are in the parish. So.
Well, and in the last, I want to make sure I thank you and Datha for doing this show. I know you said it's a very expensive hobby of yours at this point, but it provides an outlet that's wonderful for all of our local community.
I appreciate that. Yes.
So while it may be your expensive hobby, it also serves a very good purpose of getting information out about events and things that are going on based on Louisiana, locally in the parish, and it's just a good outlet to have, and I wish you and Datha all the success in the world y'all can have. I hope that one day you got 1 million viewers a month and you're making a bunch of money. And it's not just an expensive.
Oh, it's going to happen. We're in it to win it. Like I always say, it's going to happen. We're plugging along. We're just getting started right now. We're just getting started. So
I'm glad to be here in the early days.
Right, and I appreciate it. Yes, you're one of our charter guests, I guess you could say. So that sounds great. Okay, well, sounds great. Well, so we had on Mr. Jeremy Lacombe, who's State Representative, District 18, running for office also this coming weekend. Don't forget to go out and vote this what day of the week? This Saturday, right? October the 12th. Yes. Go out and vote. Don't let anything stop you from voting. Go out and vote for the candidate of your choice for all of these people that are running for office. And so till next time, we're going to see you guys a little bit later. Datha will be joining me on the next show. We're tentatively scheduled to have none other than Mr. Big Brown coming over here, talking about all things UPS, Harlem Globetrotters, helping out the needy with air conditions, everything this guy, how tall is he, how much does he weigh? We're going to discuss all of that stuff.
When he was in the dunking booth the other day, the first time he got dunked, he hit the dunking booth and it didn't look like he even went in the water.
Right. He's so tall, right?
And then he was telling my kid, my little boy was trying to dunk him, and he was telling him, he's like, I'll deliver you your Christmas presents, boy.
That's right. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yes, indeed. All right. We just hope that Amazon don't put Big Brown out of business. But I think he's got job security though.
I hope so. I think think he does.
Exactly. Okay, well, so for next time, for Mr. Jeremy Lacombe, Representative, and Datha Bourret, I'm David K. Gyro, and we'll see you guys again. Take it easy.